Yeah, you never know. Yes, it was good. It was just right.
Good morning. Welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service today. Our mission here at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Krista Stanley, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or a visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area here in the sanctuary. For louder activities, we have a nursery just outside the corner entrance to the sanctuary. We also have a comfort room accessible through the back hallway from which you can hear and see the service. Just a gentle reminder to everyone, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so we can enjoy the service uninterrupted by any buzzing or ringing. We now have a brief announcement regarding an upcoming environmental justice series hosted by Sunnyhill member Bob Hedden.
Good morning. Those of you who don't know me, I'm the husband of Beth Hedden. So yeah. Beth gets all the credit. So what I do is I'm an environmental consultant, and over the years I've built a lot of mine drainage treatment systems all over Pennsylvania, and they're all passive, they're all very natural. And we're gonna have a series here starting in a few weeks, a 4-piece series about passive treatment of mine drainage in the area. And so we're gonna do that on Saturdays, and it's gonna start on March 28th here, where I'm gonna give a presentation about geology and coal mining and water pollution and how you fix it. And then April the 11th, these are all Saturdays, and April the 25th, we're gonna go out and we're gonna go see Wingfield Pines, which is a passive treatment system on Mayview Road in Upper St. Clair. And then on the 25th, we're gonna go to the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden and go see the Lotus Pond, which is a passive treatment system, and the dogwoods will be blooming at that time. And then on May 2nd, we're gonna go to McKinley Park, which is in the city, and has mine drainage, which is impacting a ball field and a track, and nobody's done anything about it for 20 years. And it's time to fix that. And so I was hoping that we will go there and we will look at that, and maybe we'll get some momentum going for the city to fix that problem. And so this is organized by the Sunnyhill Environmental Justice Team, which are probably here. I don't know if anybody wants to stand up. But anyway, we have arms going up. We have a maximum of 30 people. You can sign up in the beat. It says QR code, but is there a QR? Oh, there you go. Okay. There you go. Okay, and you can sign up for individual tours. You can sign up for them all. I hope that you will do them all if you can. And there's no age limit. These are great sites for kids, and you're going to get into the Botanic Garden for free, which is a nice deal. And I'm hoping to recruit Peg Hart, who is a member here who helped to build the newest stuff at the Botanic Garden. I'm recruiting her now publicly to be on my tour, and then to offer to take people to see other things. Peg, there you go. Okay. So please think about it. Bring kids, bring family, bring visitors, and we'll see if we can get some good stuff going here. Thank you. Okay.
Today's sermon is titled Blues Theology. Some of the best music you will ever hear has emerged from a place of persecution and oppression, and rather than dwelling in hopelessness and despair, has proclaimed through its very existence and through its great beauty that there is something more. This service will explore theology as a genre of the blues.
Our opening words are a poem that I wrote called Sometimes the Blues. Sometimes the blues catch you unawares, walking down the street on a sunny day, nothing particular going wrong or poorly, birds chirping, oblivious and unconcerned, people strolling by, smiling and chatting, while deep inside you, the bottom drops out. Sorrow seeps into your soul, and there's nothing to do but let it come. Feel it, allow it to pass through you in waves, knowing that no matter what, no matter how down you might feel, how hard it might be to take one step after another, you will live through this moment. You will go on, you will persevere until the next moment comes along. And if nothing else, you can be certain that these blues are yours and no one else's. That your willingness to lift up your song means that you are, that your life is, that even the saddest of moments say to the world, I am alive. Hear me.
Please join me in saying the words for lighting our chalice. We kindle this chalice as a reminder that even in darkness, light is never far away.
I need batteries.
Do you want to take mine?
I'll take yours. I'll take yours. Batteries. Good morning. Please rise and body your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, When the Spirit Says Do. We'll pick it up a little. You gotta do what the Spirit says do. You gotta do what the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord. You gotta do what the Spirit says do. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you gotta sing, oh Lord. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you gotta dance, oh Lord. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. When the Spirit says laugh, you gotta laugh, oh Lord. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You gotta shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you gotta shout, oh Lord. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. One more time. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bethany Thornton. I'm the membership director here at Sunnyhill, and today we have the joy of welcoming new members into our community. So at this time, may I please have Jeanette Servin, Juen Lee, Lynn Campbell, Anna Zeitz, Hassan Mahmood, Cheryl Kelly, John Kelly, Mark Lutner, and Andrea Groh please join me at the front. We have a big crew today. All right, I'm going to start on this side and introduce everybody to you. And these two on the end may look familiar. This is Cheryl and John Kelly, and they were members of Sunnyhill, and then they moved away for a bunch of years, and they're back. So Cheryl is most looking forward to being a part of a community again and helping out in whatever ways she can, making personal connections and being a part of something bigger. And John is most looking forward to the support and encouragement of like-minded people. Next, we have Anna Zeitz, and Anna is looking forward to becoming part of a community that is so centered on love, inclusion, and empowering people and calling them to action to lead their best lives, however they choose to define that. Next, we have Hassan Mahmood, and Hassan is looking forward to the social events, to volunteering, and to being a part of a community where we can be our true selves and grow. And you may know Hassan's brother, Robin Mahmoud, and he's also joining the church, but he's not here today. So Robin is most looking forward to joining Sunnyhill because he sincerely believes it's a community it's a community that helps advance humanity and carries the baton forward for future generations. Next we have, who's that? Jeanette. Okay. Jeanette Servan we have next, and Jeanette is most looking forward to making new friends here at Sunnyhill. Next we have Zhuan Li, and Zhuan just moved here from China not too long ago. And Zhuan is most looking forward to building connections, participating in community activities, and learning from the diverse perspectives within Sunnyhill. Next we have Mark Lutner, and Mark is most looking forward to building community, becoming involved, living my faith, and being an example. And Andrea is next, Andrea Groh, and she has Ronan, but he's not here with her this morning. Oh, maybe he's here. There he is. There's Ronan with her. Okay. And Ronan is 4. And Andrea looks forward to joining a village of like-minded neighbors and showing her son what it means to be a part of an inclusive community. And lastly, we have Lynn James, who moved here from Texas. She wanted me to say she used to be a proud Texas woman, now she's a proud Pittsburgh woman, right? Yeah, okay. And she most looks forward to building community with like-minded people and having interesting and deep conversations, opportunities to be of service, and to be support for some of the advocacy work she does with services for people who are deaf, hard of hearing, or deafblind.
So for our Time for All Ages today, we're going to invite kiddos to come up and help us welcome our new members. So if there are any kiddos present, now is your chance to come up. We're all going to sit together, and we have some words that we will say together. So now's your chance. Come on up.
So the way this is going to work is I have some questions that I'm going to ask our new members that I'll ask them to respond to as a group. Then Bethany will have some questions that she'll ask to the congregation for you to respond to. And then Jen will ask our children some questions as well so that our new members can feel welcomed by everybody. Today we welcome into our congregation these new members who have chosen to become part of this church. We're so glad that you are with us and delighted that you have chosen to share this part of your journey with us. Will you accept our gifts of fellowship, mutual support, and service? Will you offer your unique presence and gifts? And will you work with us as we seek to create a community and a world dedicated to compassion and justice? If so, please say, "We will."
Congregation, will you welcome these new members with the warmth and comfort of your fellowship? Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts they bring to us? And will you share our triumphs and our struggles as our community grows and changes? If so, please say, "We will."
We will. All right, kiddos, it's our turn. Children, will you do everything you can to make this feel welcome in our congregation? And will you help them know that we are the church of the open mind, the loving heart, and helping hands? If so, please say, "We will."
Let us say together the words on our screens, which reflect our common purpose and common love in the midst of our diversity of beliefs. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Please seek out our new members when you can to make sure that they're welcome, and join me right now in making them welcome here.
All right, let's sing the kiddos out. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go in peace. Know our love is with you all.
This is the time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of our congregation. Those joys and sorrows may be submitted online from our website or through a link in the Beat, our weekly email newsletter, or you can fill out a form in the entryway to the church. After each joy or sorrow that I share, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." Two joys from Michaeline and Wendy. One, after 3 harrowing weeks, we finally heard this week from brother and brother-in-law, David and John, that they were home safely after a 3-week vacation in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. 2, it is with great joy that we welcome a new Stabile family member who arrived in February, great-grandnephew Sunny, sure to add sunshine and hope to our lives. To Michaeline and Wendy and family, we hold you in our hearts. Judy Spiegel shares a joy. Reverend Kirk Lodeman Copeland, called in 1991 as Sunnyhill's first settled minister, was beloved by many who are here in this church still today. In the 1990s, Judy says, I was privileged to have a close working relationship with him during our tenure together at Family Hospice in Mount Lebanon. I was delighted to learn via Sandy Shannon that Kirk, a gifted writer, has just released the first of 2 books in his new series, The Soul's Compass. His first book, On the Journey, Meditations About Life, is part memoir, part commentary, and part exploration. It's just what I needed to help me through these increasingly worrisome times. And Judy has donated 2 copies of this book to the Sunnyhill Library if anyone's interested in borrowing it. For Judy and for all those who know Kirk Lodeman Copeland, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Joseph Barker. Joe says, I am so proud of Sunnyhill for supporting our Soul Matters group, hosting Create a No King poster gathering on March 21st at noon at Sunnyhill. Social justice and social action is love in the community. To Joe and his group, we hold you in our hearts. A sorrow from John Luff. John says, Janet Swanson, longtime Sunnyhill member who now lives in North Carolina, broke her elbow last week and is recovering from surgery at home. To Janet and family, we hold you in our hearts. A sorrow from Carrie Chakravarti. Carrie says, Maria de Araujo Guedes, a first-grade Brazilian-American student in the Quaker Valley School District, is facing her second battle with cancer. She recently completed a round of chemotherapy and is currently resting at home. During this already difficult time, Maria's father was detained by ICE. Her family, along with members of the local community, are working together to support them and advocate for her father's return home. As Maria focuses on healing, she is deeply missing her daddy. To Maria, family, and friends, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Will Page. Will says, I have a great joy that my child B will have their debut performance with the Mount Lebanon High School Evening Theater Company's production of Much Ado About Nothing as the dastardly Don John. Will says, can my good-hearted in real life child truly summon the energy to ruin everyone's happiness on stage? Come find out this coming Thursday and Saturday. And if you can't make it on those days but still want to see the show, a different player is cast in the role on Wednesday and Friday. There is a flyer posted in the lobby with information about times and tickets. To Will and B and family, we hold you in our hearts. Finally, I have a sorrow. More than 1,300 people, both civilians and military personnel, have been killed so far in the war in the Middle East. Each of these deaths represents a huge loss for friends and family members who now have to deal with grief and trauma As the war continues, let us bear in mind all those whose lives have been lost or damaged. For those affected directly by this war, we hold you in our hearts. As we sing our musical meditation, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seat.
Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? It sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Not exactly the finish that I had planned, but it'll work. Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. What is the sound of freedom at a time when freedoms are being limited and curtailed? What is the sound of justice at a time when justice and accountability are scorned? What is the sound of compassion and caring when the roar of fear and anger is all around? Let us take a moment of hushed silence to listen for the sound of freedom, the sound of justice, the sound of that which calls us toward compassion and love. May we pause throughout the course of our lives for moments of hushed silence, from which there might emerge the commitment to act in solidarity with all who suffer, all who are oppressed, all who yearn for justice in unjust times. Amen. When I was 13 or 14 years old, I bought a 3-disc record album that had a profound effect on me, both musically and to some extent theologically. It was the collected works of a blues singer and guitarist from the 1920s who was known as Blind Lemon Jefferson. I don't honestly know what motivated me to buy that particular album, other than this vague sense that any budding young guitarist should be well-versed in the blues. And what I'd read about Blind Lemon Jefferson intrigued me. Jefferson was born blind, the son of black sharecroppers in the 1890s in rural eastern Texas. He began playing guitar in his early teens and was soon performing not just on street corners, but also at parties and bars and juke joints in Texas, Louisiana, and then throughout the South. He had a distinctive playing style that was influenced by the ragtime piano playing of that era and by the field hollers and chants that were a part of working in the fields in those days. Jefferson's playing style included some fairly complex riffs and rhythms that take a while to master, and his voice just dripped with the blues. He had that high whine that was loud enough to pierce through the noise in a rowdy bar room and mournful enough to let you know that this man really knew what hard times were. At the same time, there was a kind of soaring joy to his intricate guitar work and the driving rhythm of most of his songs. I was drawn to that seeming tension in the blues between stark sadness on one hand and the absolute joy of being alive on the other. James Cone, who was a leading Black liberation theologian and distinguished professor at Union Theological Seminary, wrote these words about the blues. "The origin and definition of the blues cannot be understood independent of the suffering that Black people endured in the context of white racism and hate. Therefore, the question that gave shape and purpose to the blues was, how could Black people keep themselves together, preserving a measure of their cultural being and not lose their physical lives? Cohn goes on, the blues tell us about Black people's attempt to carve out a significant existence in a very trying situation. The purpose of the blues is to give structure to Black existence in a context where color means rejection and humiliation. So according to Cohn's thinking, the blues represents a particular expression of the Black struggle in America, the struggle just to exist in a context and in a culture which had denied the very humanity of those who were Black. Cohn goes on to say, implied in the blues is a stubborn refusal to go beyond the existential problem and substitute otherworldly answers. It's not that the blues reject God, rather they ignore God by embracing the joys and sorrows of this life. In other words, Cohn is saying that the blues as a genre expresses religious beliefs and understandings, but in a way that is at least implicitly non-theistic. The blues tells us that suffering and sorrow are real, as are joy and survival, and that these experiences bind people together. But we need not believe in an afterlife or an all-powerful God to see that everyday experience, especially the experience of those who suffer, is sacred in and of itself and is worthy of our attention. A few years ago, I was delighted to come across an essay titled Theology as a Genre of the Blues, which was written by Vincent Colapietro, a philosophy professor at the University of Rhode Island. Colapietro wrote, the blues and allied forms of musical expression, for example, the song We Shall Overcome, are often triumphant, but never triumphalist. This is because they are a resolute expression not to be defeated in the worst sense of human defeat and degradation imaginable, being party to one's own self-abnegation and self-negation. There is, he says, however, an essential equivocation or at least uncertainty, even in this expression of defiance. We shall overcome, but if we do not, it will be the result of confronting impossible odds. The blues, he says, marks a living conjunction of radical hope and at least equally radical doubt. I love that the description of the blues as a living conjunction of radical hope and at least equally radical doubt. It describes a tension that I sensed when I first started listening to and playing blues music, that strange juxtaposition of lyrics that describe sadness after sadness and music that just bounces with energy and resilience. The blues sensibility seems to capture and express so much about the human condition. Those who are oppressed and marginalized live continually with radical hope and at least equally radical doubt. But they refuse to be accomplices in their own marginalization. By raising their voices, by expressing both hope and doubt, voices from the margins say that they will not allow themselves to be erased, to be forgotten, or to be ignored. When we listen to the blues, we are listening to the voices of the marginalized as they lament the reality of the world's brokenness and as they persevere nonetheless. That's what is called the blues perspective. Things are bad, but I'm still here and I'm still singing and playing my song, and there's nobody that can take that away from me. Some of the best music you'll ever hear comes from that blues perspective. In America, it's not just the blues, but jazz and soul and funk and gospel and hip-hop music that have all emerged from this place of persecution and oppression, and rather than dwelling in hopelessness and despair, have proclaimed through their very existence and through their great beauty that there is something more. And the blues perspective is not found exclusively in African American art forms. It's found any place where people are oppressed and are singing still. The blues perspective can be found in South Africa, in Eastern Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, and elsewhere. The blues perspective is found in the Bible. The Bible was the first great work of literature that was written from the perspective of the oppressed rather than the perspective of the oppressors. Now, it's also true that the Bible has been co-opted and used as a tool of oppression by those in power, but the books of the Bible were written from the point of view of the oppressed peoples. Any form of artistic expression, whether it's music, poetry, dance, painting, or sculpture, any form of expression that provides this view from the margins and lifts up amid struggle, hope, and doubt in more or less equal parts is an expression of that blues perspective. Lucille Clifton, an African-American poet and educator, concluded her poem, "Grandma, We Are Poets," with these words: "I withdrew to seek within myself some small assurance that tragedy, while vast, is bearable. Tragedy, while vast, is bearable." That is a sentiment that is at the heart of the blues perspective, and it's what gives the blues its enduring power. There have been times in my life where I have had absolutely nothing to hold on to but a song. Times when tragedy has seemed so overwhelming that the only thing that kept me going were a few lines of music, a few utterances of radical hope in the midst of radical doubt. And I would guess that some of you have had similar experiences as well. The blues is a vehicle for holding up the tragic experiences of one's life, not in the spirit of defeat, but in the spirit of refusing to be defeated despite the odds, and refusing to be unheard or ignored. Billy Collins wrote a poem called "The Blues," which goes like this: "Much of what is said here must be said twice, a reminder that no one takes an immediate interest in the pain of others. Nobody will listen, it would seem, if you simply admit your baby left you early this morning, she didn't even stop to say goodbye. But if you sing it again, with the help of the band, which will now lift you to a higher, more ardent and beseeching key, people will not only listen, they will shift to the sympathetic edges of their chairs, moved to such acute anticipation by that chord and the delay that follows, they will not be able to sleep unless you release with one finger a scream from the throat of your guitar and turn your head back to the microphone and let them know you're a hard-hearted man, but that woman's sure gonna make you cry." I know that many of you are familiar with a book by Brian Stevenson titled Just Mercy, a story of justice and redemption, which was turned into a movie a few years back. Stevenson is a lawyer and founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, a nonprofit organization based in Montgomery, Alabama, that provides legal representation to prisoners who may have been wrongly convicted of crimes, poor prisoners without effective representation, and others who may have been denied a fair trial. In Just Mercy, Stevenson shares an anecdote about noticing a woman who seemed to always be present in a particular courtroom where he argued many of his death row cases. One day, he introduced himself to her and asked if she was related to one of the defendants involved in the case that day. She said, no, I'm not related to anybody here, not that I know of anyway. I just come here to help people. This place, she said, is full of pain, so people need plenty of help around here. She went on to say, all these young children being sent to prison forever, all this grief and violence, those judges throwing people away like they're not even human, people shooting each other, hurting each other like they don't care. I don't know, she said. It's a lot of pain. I decided that I was supposed to be here to catch some of the stones people cast at each other. Stevenson went on to have a brief conversation with this woman in which they agreed that they were both, in essence, stone catchers. At the end of their time together, the woman said, "Ain't no way to do what we do and not learn how to appreciate a good sorrow song. I've been singing sad songs my whole life, had to. When you catch stones, even happy songs can make you sad. But you keep singing. Your songs will make you strong. They might even make you happy." Stone catchers, those who put themselves in the places where people throw stones at one another, where people are grievously injured and in need of compassion, understand the blues perspective. Understand that even the saddest of songs is an affirmation of life. I hope and pray that we will open our hearts and our ears to voices from the margins, that we will glean from their songs that spark that is created at the intersection of radical hope and radical doubt, a place where transformation might begin with us and through us. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise again to join in singing our closing hymn, a great one from Heather Pearson, "Joy Came Back." We're going to go through the first verse once, and then we'll come back and do it again so we all get it together. I'm so glad that my joy came back to me. I'm so glad that my joy came back to me. Yes, I cried and I prayed.
Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of March is the Collaborative for Immigrant Impact. The Collaborative is a group of 18 organizations that work together to defend the international community in our region, support one another, and find innovative ways to preserve the diversity that enriches our neighborhoods, schools, and economy. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you're writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put Share the Plate in the memo line. Thank you for your generosity.
Well, I can't believe the way I feel today. Will be different when the sun comes up again. They say redemption is an inside job. I'm on the outside looking in. Well, there has to be a way that I can blame this all away. Someone who caused this trouble that I'm in. They say redemption is an inside job. Can I be forgiven once again? Well, I did the crime. Now my heart's doing time. I'm never gonna be all right. I gave in to temptation and pain, and that's all I've got to get me through the night. And I blame her 'cause she caught me in my line. Surely it's her fault, the sad, sad shape I'm in. They say redemption is an inside job, but the mirror says it's me who done me in. Across the line, now I'm losing my mind, and the only way that I will ever be set free is to change my cheating ways, let the chips fall where they may, and realize the finger points at me. Is it possible that I could start redemption is an inside job. Well, here I am again, getting closer to the end, but still on the outside.
Please join me in saying the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
The brief reminder that the Sunnyhill auction is coming on April 11th. About half the tickets, or a little bit more than half the tickets, have already been sold, so be sure to get yours soon. Also, so far, we've only had 20 or so Sunnyhill members who've made auction donations. We're going to need many more to make our goal this week, so I hope you will consider what you might be able to donate. You can find more information on our website or through the Beat, or by talking to a member of the auction team, or by emailing them at serviceauction@sunnyhill.org. We hope that everyone will participate in some way, if possible, to make this 2026 Black and Gold auction our most successful ever. For now, we'll close with these words, poem by Langston Hughes titled The Blues. When the shoestrings break on both your shoes and you're in a hurry, that's the blues. When you go to buy a candy bar and you've lost the dime you had slipped through a hole in your pocket somewhere, that's the blues too, and bad. Even during this era of deep blues, may we embrace living at that place where radical doubt and radical hope come together, working for love and justice in all we do. Go in peace.